Hi, everyone. It's me, Fran Drescher, the founder of the Cancer Schmancer Movement, and we are presenting to you Corona Care for You. This is a series that's designed to give you some outside of the box information, suggestions from wildly interesting and maverick doctors who are giving us practical advice on how we can get healthy, bolster our immune system, and actually have a fighting chance against this virus and many others. So I'd like to welcome today Dr. Daryl Gioffre. Dr. Gioffre wrote the book, Get Off Your Acid. He also has a product line that we'll talk about during this interview as well. So welcome, Dr. Gioffre. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you so much, Fran. It's an absolute honor always to speak with you, and it's just great to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. So now you're in Manhattan, are you not?
I am in Manhattan. Yeah, it's
With
a
your
it's a good.
wife and your two young children, so you're really, right there in the midst of it all, and you seem to be faring very well. Can I ask you, have any of your patients contracted the virus by any chance?
Some of them have, yes, absolutely. And I mean, it's amazing. One of the things that's really interesting about this is they say the best time to prepare for an emergency is 2 years ago. The second best time is today. And it's really interesting
I
because
love
we
that.
all were blindsided by this whole thing. It's like no one could ever anticipate this. So it's really interesting to see kind of what evolved here in New York City. And, we stayed here the entire time. I felt obligated to stay open and serve my patients and help them the best way I know I can help them, ultimately through the nutrition and even virtual consults and chiropractic care, because we got to just keep our immune system as strong as possible now. But, it's like some people came into this that were taking good care of themselves. They were eating healthy, clean diets and exercising and meditating and doing good things like that. But other people were doing, the opposite and maybe weren't doing quite those things. So, yes, some of my patients came down with it, but, they reached out right away. Thankfully, no fatalities as far as the people in my sphere. Unfortunately, there a lot of unfortunate things going on as well. But we just do what we do best, which is control what we can control and
So
help
what
them.
is your protocol for some of your patients that have actually contracted the virus?
Well, it's interesting because when people are sick, there's something called energy diversion, where the body is really innately intelligent. The body wants to spend its energy where it really needs most. It prioritizes. So, in the beginning, people, we talk about the power of fasting, right? Well, when people get sick, what do they want to do? Their body makes them fast because the body doesn't want to use that energy to consume food or exercise. It needs that energy to fight, to mount a defense. So that's why, people don't want to eat when things like this happen. But what can we do? The solution to pollution is dilution. You got to hydrate. It's the most simple thing we can do. Let's keep it simple. We add hydration. And the reality is, Fran, is most people are dehydrated. If you see a plant and that plant begins to wilt, most doctors are going to say, give it drugs, give it surgery. But no, it's only if it's like a life-threatening situation. But if they're not in that life-threatening situation, it's like, what does that plant need to restore, reset, and get its health back? It needs nutrition. It needs sunlight. It needs water,
Means water.
hydration. Yeah, maybe there's some toxins that leaked into the soil you got to remove. My point is, let's give these people the things they're deficient in and boost their immune system. And, the body's going to heal itself. And that's the way the body always has been.
Do you have suggestions on how to hydrate on a cellular level? Because very often people say, well, I drink all day and I pee all day, but yet I was told that I'm dehydrated.
Hmm. Well, one of the things I always say is pee your way to better health. So it's not necessarily a bad thing because the body's always trying to calibrate. This is what I love about the body. It's like you give it what it needs, but you don't need to tell it what to do. You have all different sorts of buffering systems in the body. You have your kidneys, you have your adrenal glands, you have blood proteins, you have your lungs. 70% of the toxins in your body are removed by your breathing. But when you're peeing, it's the sign that your kidneys are at work and maybe overworked, trying to get rid of the acidity that's in the body. And again, better out than in. But what happens when the body's in this inflamed, hyperacidic state, we become deficient in minerals. So one of the reasons why we're not getting that hydration into the tissues is because we're mineral deficient. And I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest things I'm seeing right now
And
is
that's because we tend to be high in acid.
high in acid. And what's the biggest acid right now that people have gone into? Stressful forms of eating. They're eating so much more sugar and crappy carbohydrates. When I say crap, CRAP, completely refined and processed. And the problem with sugar is really, I mean, there's so many things, we can go on forever, but two things. Number one, it massively depletes your immune system. When you eat sugar, within 30 minutes, already your immune system's been paralyzed by 50%. And I know we've done live blood cell testing with you. I actually look at this on screen when we prick the finger, and we can see these immune cells. Now, someone might have a lot of immune cells, but those immune cells are stuck. They're paralyzed. They're not able to go to work. And sugar's been known to last 2 hours and even 5 hours after you eat to paralyze those immune cells. So that's number one. Number two is it depletes your body of magnesium, one of the most important nutrients, and I would say probably one of the biggest depletions in the Western Hemisphere. I mean, if you have
I take
sucrose,
that every night.
so important, because when you have table sugar like sucrose, your body eats up about 84 different molecules of magnesium just to neutralize one molecule of sucrose. And for fructose, which is, I think, the worst form of sugar, it's 56 to 1. So that's the problem. It's draining you of the minerals that you need to perform every day, mentally, physically, and also immune-wise.
If you're telling them to hydrate, now is soda a source of acid too?
Soda is a big source of acid. I mean, if you put soda on some bones, you're going to dissolve those bones. I mean, it's phosphoric acid. There's just so many bad things about soda. Obviously, we all know from a common sense point, soda's not good for you. But the question is what do these things metabolize into inside your body? So soda is acid. Even grains metabolizes into something called sulfuric acid. Dairy becomes lactic acid. There's 35 different acids in coffee. You know, if you're eating too much animal protein, that metabolizes to sulfuric acid, nitric acid. So there's all these different types of things that these foods that we eat metabolize into. And the problem is once they get to the gut, that's where the big issue happens, because these types of foods wear away. It's like if I have a cut on my finger and I put sandpaper on that finger, it's never going to heal. So the same thing happens inside our gut. When you're pumping your body with these acidic foods, acid is corrosive. They corrode your body, and it's like that sandpaper. And then you get things like intestinal permeability, leaky gut, and then you start to get hypersensitivity reactions to foods that normally would be healthy for your body. So it creates this kind of vicious cycle, but ultimately we got to get down to that gut function, because 80% of our immune system lives in the gut and 80% of our nervous system lives into the gut.
Now, it's my understanding that a great number of the people that sadly passed away from the COVID-19, about 88% of them were considered obese. So, how do you help people find their way out of obesity?
Yeah, it could be a challenge, because for so many of these people, this is big. It's been a habitual thing for nearly a good portion of their life. You know, for me, it was an addiction to sugar. And I remember kind of all the ups and downs I went to. So it really doesn't matter what the specific health condition is. There's a couple things you have to address. Number one, you have to meet them where they're at. You can't expect somebody who's got a 20% acidic or alkaline diet, or eating 20% healthy foods and 80% acidic inflammatory foods, to make a full switch. Now, their willpower might get them started and they can maybe do that, but it's not enough to keep them going. So what I always like to do with my clients, no matter what condition they might have, is I start with two things. Number one, what is your outcome? You have to define your outcome, and it needs to be crystal clear. Or what am I after? Yes, I want to lose weight. Okay, you lost a half of a pound. That's not an outcome. It's like, what is the specifics behind that? You got to get so specific that you can really get down to really what it is that you're after. And once you know what that is, okay, then it's about developing a powerful why, a purpose, a compelling enough reason, so that when the you know what hits the fan, again, we were blindsided by this pandemic. So when this happened, two things happened. Either people went into the stressful form of eating, or people just took this up as an opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to take my health to the next level. I'm going to reconnect with my family and my friends. I'm going to do a digital detox. I'm going to innovate and figure out a way to jump on a rebounder or move my body inside my apartment or home. So again, it's like you have to come up with that powerful enough reason behind why you do what you do. So once you have the outcome, once you have that why, then the strategy is the easier part. And I'm going to tell you, Fran, you know this, 80% of our success in anything, whether it's health, business, relationships, it's our psychology. All right. Hows come second, whys come first. And if that why is big enough, you're going to find the strategy. You'll find a way to get through any obstacles that show up. And it's the pandemic right now, right? That's today. But what's the next one? We're always going to be faced with adversity in one way or the other. So we got to be prepared, and let's use this current situation as an opportunity to take our health, our energy, our lifestyles to the next level.
Now, let me ask you something, because you mentioned, no sugar. You said you don't even like fruit sugar. So you have two young children. Can you tell to the parents out there how you satisfy a child's sweet tooth living the get off your acid, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the challenge with the kids. Fortunately, my son is 6, my daughter's 3. We were able to start. I had this information when they were born. They were drinking their first green juices at 8 months. My son will drink 2 green juices before he even gets out of bed. I mean, it's incredible. I'm so fortunate and lucky, but I'll get clients in my office or on a virtual call that they're 5 years old or they're 7 years old, and it's a lot more challenging to help a child at that age when they've been consuming sugar. Because here's the reality, Fran, sugar has snuck its way into our diets. They're hiding in so many of these so-called health foods. And I mean, I've talked before how a lot of us have had breakfast for dinner, but the problem is so many people are starting their day with dessert for breakfast. You look at the typical standard American breakfast, it's crazy what these kids are eating. So my approach to these parents is just start with one thing. I don't care if you have to get 2 cups of spinach, throw that into the pasta sauce, blend it up, and sneak it into the diet. Again, where is your child at? And figure out a way to approach that child in a way that they might listen. And here's the hard part, is that it now has been shown that it takes 16 tries with a child before they'll actually attempt a new food. So don't stop. Have that why.
That's also true with quitting smoking. The average is 16 tries. So never get discouraged or say, I can't do it. I've tried and, to quit so many times. So
yeah,
I guess it's with changing, an addicted habit.
Yeah, but it's so true. And, my approach is add and not take away. Deprivation doesn't work with us. It doesn't work with children. So I think with kids, the smartest thing is to make it a game. Kids love games. The other day we created an avocado.
Well, what do you give them for like dessert?
We'll make chocolate chia pudding. We'll do avocado chocolate mousse. We'll get some berries, and on the berries, I'll put some coconut butter, some chopped up mint. Again, we make it a healthy version, but these recipes, they taste so good that they think they're cheating. And that's the cool part. And listen, we're not the crazy parents at school when school was in session. If there was a bake sale, I would never say, Braden, you can't go to the bake sale. We'll give him money to do that. I don't want him to be singled out or feel like he's different. So we let him be a kid. We let him be a child, but he's amazing at this age.
What do they say? Don't make the perfect the enemy of the good.
Exactly, because they're going to rebel. It's a great quote. So we let them be children, but it's amazing. They know good from bad. He knows sugar's bad. He knows what's good. He makes these little cute videos. And again, like we make the smoothies. I let them blend it. A few weeks ago, we made a chocolate chia pudding, and I got a little arrogant, and I left the top open with my daughter right next to it. And I went to unplug it. I should have just turned it off. And my daughter turns the thing on the Vitamix all the way up. Fran, it went everywhere. It was up her nose, in her ear, on the ceiling, and I could only just laugh. It was hilarious. These are the moments that 10 years from now, we're going to look back, and they're going to be amazing moments. But, we made an avocado bar where we chopped up the avocados. We had all different sorts of toppings, from chia seeds and hemp seeds and lime juice and cumin and sea salt and all different sorts of nuts. And we let them come into the kitchen one at a time, because you know how that goes when they're in there together. And they made their own like avocados. They dressed it up, and guess what? They ate it because you made it a game. You got them involved. So for me, I think that is the best way to approach children, is you get them involved, make it fun, have them name it what they made, like a superpower smoothie, and then they're going to be much more inclined to participate. And the taste buds change every 14 days. So as you start to add these more alkaline-based foods into their diet, they're going to start to like those foods more and more. But when they're eating sugar, their body or their taste buds become desensitized, so they need more sugar to get the same high.
Well, that's great advice, honestly. I mean, turning it into a game, including them in the kitchen to prepare something, coming up with healthy desserts that they can enjoy and not feel deprived by are all wonderful tips. I honestly, I mean, I don't have children, so I wouldn't have really thought about that, but it's wonderful advice. What is there a kind of pasta that you think is okay? You mentioned pasta sauce, but is there a pasta that you think is okay that doesn't like quickly turn to sugar?
You're talking to the Italian in me. This was my hardest part when I first started years ago. I grew up with spaghetti and meatballs. My mom made the best, but what I found was that you can make a delicious vegan pesto. And again, this is not about vegan or eating meat. It's not about turning people into vegan, but my point is that you can make healthy, delicious sauces to add on, and that's where I get most of the taste and flavor. So if I put those on some zoodles, I don't really go for the gluten-free pastas anymore because they're still processed. And really, there's no such thing as gluten-free. There's nothing free about gluten-free. Grains in general are things we have to avoid. I mean, all grains can become contaminated with fungal mycotoxins that we know cause cancer. Grains spike insulin.
You don't really eat any kind of spaghetti anymore.
No, I mean not the wheat base, but we'll do like a garbanzo bean pasta, or we'll do
Is
black
that good?
bean. It's okay. It's good. I mean, it's not. I'm not gonna lie. It's not gonna taste like a nice rigatoni
Yeah,
like I
it
had years
won't.
ago. But again, like my taste buds have changed. So if I was to eat like a big bowl of wheat based pasta, I mean, it might taste good in the moment, Fran, but I feel awful. And that's kind of how I always make my choices now. Is this food going to make me feel healthier or sicker? Is this food going to fuel my energy, or is this going to fuel cancer? How am I going to feel 2 hours after eating? So yes, I could eat in that big bowl of pasta, but is it really serving my purpose? Is it serving my outcome? So again, back to that outcome. Ask that question all the time. What's my outcome? Is this serving my outcome? So, I'm not perfect. I don't want to be perfect. I live 80-20. So 80% of the foods I eat during the day are healthy, and 20% I have a little leeway. So if I want to have a coffee, I put my acid kicking coffee into that. If I want to have a glass of wine with Chelsea, I will, but I'll have some minerals after that. So it's all about how you can balance your body, enjoy life, not about deprivation. It's about moderation, but just live balanced, live healthy, and the body will take care of the rest.
Well, that's great. It's nice to hear from somebody that doesn't turn it into a religion where it's just so, ridiculous. It's impossible for the average person to follow it. But the way you present it, it sounds like it's doable. Now, you at Get Off Your Acid manufacture a lot of drinks, powders that you put in beverages and things like that. Is there a discipline throughout the day where you would eat solids versus, these fortified drinks?
Yeah, I mean, I believe in diet variation. I think one of the most important things for us is that we have to switch it up. It's like you would think it's crazy if you went to a trainer and they did the same thing with you every single time. Your body's just going to plateau. So I think it's really been proven in the research. You have the ketogenic diet, you have the paleo diet, you have the vegetarian, vegan. I mean, there's a million different diets out there, but what research is showing is that diet variation is probably even more important. Of course, with at least 80% of that being plant-based, because that's really what makes the body thrive. So I always start, I like foods in their pre-digested form. So when I get up, the very first thing I do and my family does is that we have a green juice. We'll make fresh green juices, but I like the green juice powders because they're easy. They're cost effective. You don't have the messy cleanup. If I'm having a fresh green juice or a celery juice, I'll take a scoop of our greens. I'll throw that into the juice because it becomes that more powerful. So I always like to start the day with that. But the other pre-digested sorts of foods would be smoothies, green smoothies. Avoid lots of sugar. Get lots of healthy greens, lots of healthy fats. I'll throw in coconut oil. I'll throw in some chia seeds, some hemp seeds. I try to stay away from dairy because it's a gut wrecker. Dairy turns into lactic acid.
What about like oat milk?
Yeah, I prefer coconut milk and almond milk and even hemp milk because oat milk is still a grain. And going back to what we talked about before, grains are going to spike insulin. Grains, yeah. So, and listen, if you're going to have oat milk, don't beat yourself up for it. Have some oat milk, but get some spinach in there. Get some cacao in there. Get some, chia seeds, hemp seeds, just load it up with healthy stuff. Again, 80-20, when it comes to what you're eating, that's kind of my approach. And you got to meet people where they're at. So I think that's the biggest lesson is that it's not about being perfect. I'm not perfect. When I was addicted to sugar, if you told me to do this 100%, I would have done it for 2 weeks or a month, like all the ups and downs I've experienced for years, but I never would have stuck with it because it wasn't practical. So I think the most important thing for people now is just start adding. If you're doing dairy or you're doing acidic foods, that's okay. You don't have to give those things up right now. Start to add more healthy foods like avocados in the morning. But I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. So I'll skip the breakfast and I really try to get my window in that 8-hour window. Again, because fasting really helps the body. It resets the microbiome. It helps autophagy, which is how your body cleans out the old damaged cells. It makes new stem cells. It slows down aging. It boosts immunity. So I really try to help people work towards that intermittent fasting. But here's the thing. If someone's eating 17 times a day, which is when you crave sugar, a lot of times people do that, you can't take them from 17 meals a day, including snacks, all the way to intermittent fasting. You got to first take those snacks and make them healthy snacks. So it's a swap. Take the bad snack, make it a healthier version. And then you start to remove the snacks, and then I take them to 3 meals a day. And those are 3 healthier meals. And then from there, you start to take the breakfast, and then let's say you eat at 8 o'clock. That now moves to 9 o'clock. You do that for a few days. Then move it to 10. Then move it to 11. And eventually you merge breakfast with lunch. So you get them to intermittent fasting in a safe and healthy way, because most people who are addicted to sugar or craving crappy carbs, they can't do it. It's a willpower thing. Their body's not ready for that transition. It's one extreme to the next. So you got to take them there gradually. Again, add. And before you know it, the good outweighs the bad.
Now, do you, how much solid food versus all these liquid drinks? It sounds like it's a lot, and especially within an 8-hour window. I mean, is it one meal a day that you eat that's solid, or it's every day is how you?
No, yeah, a couple of meals a day is solid. For lunch today, I had a big green salad, lots of rainbow vegetables. I had an avocado and I had a piece of wild caught salmon. I'll eat salmon a few times a month from a good quality source. My wife is a vegan, except she consumes fish oil. But that was what I had for lunch. Sometimes it'll be a salad with just avocado and a soup. Sometimes it'll be a stir fry. So again, we eat lots of solid food, but
Do
my
you
point,
eat tofu?
I don't eat tofu because I just don't like it. I try to stay away from soy as well, but my wife has it once in a while. My son will have it once in a while just because they like it. It's not
So
something that
what
we.
is your sources of protein? How do you get your essential, you know?
Well, I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about a plant-based diet is that you can't get enough protein. You get plenty of protein. Anyone that watched the movie Game Changers saw that from that huge weightlifter. The average American, Fran, consumes 5 times too much protein. And the problem with that is that when you consume too much protein, it actually turns to sugar in your body via a process called gluconeogenesis that happens in the liver. So I think the problem with most Americans, even vegans and vegetarians, is not too little protein. I think most people are consuming too much protein. But if you're having a plant-based diet, you're going to get plenty of protein. I mean, hemp seeds is a powerful source of protein. Chia seeds, there's so many different things that you can do. Even vegetables are going to have them. Again, I do decide to have some fish a few times a month just because that's what my body tells me to do. So you got to listen to your body. Again, the key thing though is when you're going to go for these animal proteins, you got to know your source. It's got to be a clean source because most of these fish are frankenfish. They're fed genetically modified organisms. They're fed corn and soy, which is a pro-inflammatory omega-6 fat. They're injected with they even inject them with pink dye to make them look pink. It's gone so bad that they're actually
Yeah,
putting
we
these
have to
pens.
put industrial farming out of business. We cannot
100%.
support it anymore because it's not supporting us.
And one of my favorite things about what you say is what you take out of your pocket in terms of the dollars that you spend and where you spend them. It's one of the most important
That's
messages that you
your
tell
vote
people.
as well as your protest. That's
Critical.
the most direct way to hit them where they live and let them know that they need to be more responsible in the food industry.
Big time. We could put these massive conglomerates out of business. I mean, we stopped buying Coca-Cola. Guess what? We helped the world. It kills me when I see a child drinking Coca-Cola. There is
If we
not.
all stopped drinking it today, they'd stop making it tomorrow that fast.
There you go.
There's
There you
no
go.
redeeming qualities to it.
Nothing. Nothing.
It's
And
so hard to
it's a
convince
fructose.
people.
It's a fructose tsunami. I mean, we're seeing, diseases in children that you see in alcoholics now, fatty livers from all this fructose consumption. When you consume fructose, it's not like glucose where the body could break that down anywhere. Fructose gets shuttled right to that liver and it causes a massive, massive problem. The liver has to stop everything that it's doing because fructose is a poison and it has to get rid of this toxin. You get triglyceride development. You get downstream insulin resistance. I mean, it's just awful, the knock-on effect.
Are you saying that you don't think humans were meant to eat fruit?
No, what I'm saying, fruit is a beautiful thing. My children love fruit. I'm a huge fan of fruit.
Okay,
But again,
we're making this distinction.
what I'm saying is high fructose corn syrup.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
high fructose corn syrup, orange juice. So it's okay to have an orange. There's still sugar in it, but you have. So the orange has the fiber, has the nutrients. So I'll give my children orange. I'll never give my children orange juice. There's more fructose in orange juice than there is in Coca-Cola. And you now imagine having 5 oranges or 5 apples. You probably couldn't do it or wouldn't want to do it because of all that fiber. It's going to slow it down and it's going to prevent you from eating more of it. But when you juice the apple and you juice the orange, you're basically getting sugar water. And that sugar water goes right into the system quickly, right to the liver, and your body's got to stop everything to deal with that fructose tsunami.
Now, I've heard some positive things about watermelon juice. Do you have an opinion about that?
I love watermelon. It's 98% water. My kids love it. It's a beautiful thing. If you're having higher, and that is what I call kind of like a neutral. If you look at the more alkaline fruits, it's more things like lemons, limes, avocados, grapefruits, tomatoes, coconuts, even pomegranates. Watermelon would be neutral, but something like an orange has more sugar. I'm sorry, a banana has like more sugar. Now, I'm not saying don't eat bananas, but what I would have my children do, because my daughter loves bananas, I have her have it with a little raw almond butter because the healthy fat will slow down the metabolization of the sugars so that you don't get those issues I'm talking about.
I bought those baby bananas, which are less starchy.
Yes.
And they're this big. So maybe, that would be, and they're so cute. I bet she'd really like them. I think they're sweeter, juicier. They're not so dense and starchy. Yeah. I really like them.
And the more connected you are to the source, the better, because here in New York, if I was going to go to a grocery store, think about how far that banana had to come to get to us. So the moment they pick that banana, right, its life force has left it. So it starts fermenting, and all those brown spots that you see are the fermentations of the sugar. So the more it ferments, the sweeter it gets. So the closer you are to source, the better, because there's going to be less sugar. You can have it.
That is a testament to eating local.
Yes.
Eat local, eat what's in season.
Support farmers markets.
How can people test their acid versus alkaline themselves to see if they're out of balance?
Well, here's the thing, Fran, is that, and this is one of the big misconceptions out there, the pH that we really talk about that's king is your blood pH, and it's always constant. It's always going to be self-regulated by your body at a pH of 7.4, all right? It's tightly calibrated just like your temperature. The whole purpose is to take stress off our body's buffering system so it doesn't have to work so hard doing all the regulating on its own. That's the most important thing. It goes back to energy diversion. So if my body is pumping up itself with all these acidic chemicals like sugar and grains and too much dairy, right, that's going to acidify our body and all of our tissues. Now our body has to work much harder to deal with that acidic onslaught. So your immune system has to go to work. Basically, it's like if I went outside and it's freezing cold in New York City and I'm wearing a t-shirt, right? My temperature is always 98.6, give or take, but my body has to work harder to keep it at that thermostat level. So eventually you've got to get out of the cold. Otherwise, you're going to die. It's the same way. Your pH works like a thermostat. If you're pumping up your body with stress, by the way, all right, we are all subjected to these low and high levels of constant chronic stress. especially now. We're literally marinating in our cortisol, and that's suppressing our immune system. If we're putting all these acidic foods into the body's got to deal with that. And then when we have to deal with that, there's less energy. So when that virus comes, or it's not just a coronavirus, it's influenza, it's the cold, whatever it might be, we have less energy to deal with the immune defense we need for that. It's all about energy diversion. So why we eat clean, why we eat healthy is to take stress off of our body, the adrenals, the kidneys, the blood proteins, the minerals, right, in your bones and muscles and in the mouth, so that the body doesn't have to work so hard self-regulating. And when that happens, it's like right now, you go in New York City, the streets, the police can parole, there's not much to do. But when there's like chaos in New York as it normally is, there's like a lot more action. The police might get to you slower. It's the same thing with the body.
You know, you're so fascinating, and everybody is always loves hearing you speak. So I'm very grateful that you were able to come on Corona Care for You, because it's really important that people all over the world can get a fresh perspective on how they can improve their health. Because the thing that, you know, separates those that are not affected at all or asymptomatic or get a light, you know, symptoms from the flu, to those that really end up in the hospital, and many of whom pass away, is how healthy they were in the first place. So it's important that we use this as an opportunity to really get on track and start thinking about that, because how you live equals how you feel.
You could not have said it better. It's all about the terrain. Control what you can control. Don't let the stress take you out. All right. Is stress managing you, or are you going to manage the stress? It comes down to diet. It comes down to exercise. It comes down to detaching, right? Be informed, but don't let it consume you. And I can't thank you enough for the beacon of light you guys have been, for getting this message out there, because this is not what people are hearing on the news. You know, like, we need to
I
give
know
people.
there's a huge omission of information. Why? Because 80% of the ad dollars come from big pharma. So they're not going to be telling us that food is medicine. That might cut into someone's profit margin.
100%. You put a seed in concrete, nothing happens. You put that seed in fertile soil, you know what's going to happen. So what does your internal terrain look like? I mean, the information that you guys are giving out it's never been more important. I mean, it's just been an honor to be a part of this always, and to have a few minutes to speak with you and see that smile. It's just incredible to be here, and keep on, you know, doing everything that you guys are doing. And we're going to get through this, and we're not going to push through this. We're going to be pulled through this. So again, that's the big thing. Take this as an opportunity, get back to your health, control what you can control, start adding, and come out of this on top. Come out as a better version of yourself.
Well, that's Dr. Daryl Gioffre. And if you're interested, and I suggest you do this, go to getoffyouracid.com and see what Dr. Daryl Gioffre is doing, what he's up to, what he's offering you that you can, you know, put in your pantry and start getting healthy. And, you know, just take control of your body. That's what we say at cancerschmancer.org. I thank you all for coming to Corona Care for You today. This is a scary time, and we want to let you know that you're not helpless, you're not hopeless, and you can use this opportunity to change the way you live and start getting healthy again. So once again, thank you, Dr. Gioffre. We're always so happy to have you as our guest. And thank you for all your upbeat information. You're really a pistol and very motivating. So we enjoy you and we appreciate you. Go to getoffyouracid.com and learn more about what Dr. Gioffre is up to. And go to cancerschmancer.org. Tell your friends to watch this series. It's free. And we have tons of doctors that we've been interviewing that are just so fascinating and offering you practical tips on how you can help yourself and your family stay well. So be well, long life, and peace. Hi, everyone. It's me, Fran Drescher. Well, I hope you enjoyed Corona Care for You. And if you did, please think about making a donation to us at cancerschmancer.org/donate. Like so many nonprofits, we've had to cancel all of our fundraising events. So it's really up to you to help keep us going. We depend on your donations, your support, and your love. There is no donation that's too small, and we are grateful to anything that you feel comfortable giving. And continue to come in to the Cancer Schmancer Corona Care for You series, because we are constantly posting new content, and we hope that it's helpful to you and your family. Don't forget to donate. We really appreciate your support. Thank you.